Alright, ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we are fresh off of a Friday Night SmackDown that has some major talking points that we will get into throughout this video. But first, there was a huge list, if you haven't seen it at this point, of WWE superstars who were released today, moments before SmackDown went on the air. I believe it was maybe an hour or so before, and I kept seeing these different lists everywhere, and the list just kept getting longer and longer. I have the list in front of me that I believe is every name that we know of up until the time this video is going out. This is going to be a quickly edited video. I just wanted to get this out here as kind of a update, emergency episode of whatever I'm calling this. It's all just happening at once here after Friday Night SmackDown. But some notable names on this list include every member of the Wyatt Six. So you have Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan. Every member of the Wyatt Six are gone from Friday Night SmackDown. Also gone from Friday Night SmackDown, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. The pair have been released from WWE. These are the ones I am most shocked about, the Wyatts and then Aleister and Zelina. I thought they were... The Wyatts I can almost understand from a creative standpoint, them as a group. They didn't really have any creative direction. Obviously, each one of them as individuals I think are phenomenal in ring. They've all really had their own kind of moments to shine as individual superstars. However, I think having them all kind of known as the Wyatt Six up to this point now, it would be hard for them to be able to like split up and kind of go back to being those singles stars that they used to be. Also on the list, we have the Motor City Machine Guns, which is another one that kind of just took me aback because I think out of all the tag teams on SmackDown currently, Motor City Machine Guns are probably one of the most, if not the most talented on the entire roster. Obviously, you have, your R-Truth and Damian Priest going on right now. You have the MFTs, of course. But, I mean, we no longer have DIY. We now no longer have the Motor City Machine Guns. I feel like the tag team division has definitely taken a hit, especially with, these guys gone. Other notable names, Apollo Crews. Obviously, his TV time had kind of dwindled. I think he had been on Main Event a time or two. He's been in WWE for a long time. I don't know if he's ever been released. I'd have to look into that. But, yeah, Apollo Crews, sorry to see him go. Also, Santos Escobar, again, another guy that's kind of fallen through the cracks. We hadn't really seen him much on TV. I don't really keep up with AAA that much, but I felt like he had been involved a little bit in AAA, so I figured maybe they could keep him going down that road. But yeah, Santos Escobar, there's another one. Zoe Stark. And this one kind of... I hate it for her. I really do. Zoe Stark, I feel like she's always been kind of underrated in the ring. As far as mic and being able to talk and that kind of aspect to her game, I haven't really seen much from her. But I always thought she was incredibly underrated in ring. She obviously just didn't get that crowd reaction when she was in the ring like she could have. And just injuries, unfortunate injuries. Obviously that spot with Kyrie that sidelined her from a significant period of time, and just multiple injuries and just lack of character development, I think, has ultimately led to this, final release of Zoe Stark. Next up, Alba Fire. She had her spell with Chelsea Green. Obviously, Haley Ray, everybody knows from NXT UK and how talented Alba is as an individual. Again, she's kind of like on that similar level as Zoe Stark, where the ring work is there. It's just getting the crowd behind you and getting, you have to be good on the mic in WWE. That's been proven. If you don't have a talking piece, you have to be that talking piece yourself. Your in-ring work, WWE has shown, like, it's just not going to cut it, unfortunately. Andre Chase, Chase U obviously was a mainstay there in NXT for years. They had their match where, they kind of dissolved and they kind of came back together, but there wasn't really anything creatively moving forward from Andre Chase. So I think that's ultimately what led to this release. And then Dante Chen. I personally did not see a lot of Dante Chen. I know he was on NXT 2.0 a lot. I think he's had some main event spots here and there. I know he was on NXT TV a couple of times, and that's really where I got my exposure to him. I always thought he was, really talented from the matches that I've seen of his. I know that he did a lot of work maybe on shows that I didn't really get to see a whole lot of him. But just this long list here. And I think this is the current up-to-date list. I don't know if there's any additional ones that I've missed. If so, please leave them in the comments. But it's just, I think I've already seen stuff where people are dubbing this Black Friday. It's just a dark day, dark time for, all these talent. It just sucks. I mean, a lot of these people are ones that I really thought, still had some potential in WWE. I think he could have, done some things with these. And then I don't even know if I've mentioned Kairi Sane, who was on TV regularly, and she was a part of this whole Asuka Io situation where you thought kind of her allegiance was being the center point of, is she going to go with Asuka? Is she going to, rejoin Io? And I guess that kind of has just fizzled out at this point. I don't know if we're still going to run Asuka Io and capitalize on just the two of them, but losing Kairi Sane is, I feel like, a major part of that storyline that is just now, gone by the wayside. I don't know if there's any that I missed. Like I said, kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, but just trying to get this out quickly. Yeah, those are all the releases. I'll have them all up on the screen, so you'll be able to see the full list that I've gone over. If there's any that I missed, please include them. Let's talk SmackDown. We just got off of the first SmackDown after WrestleMania. There were a couple of notable moments from SmackDown, including the start of the show where Jacob Fatu is interrupted by the Usos, where you have Jimmy kind of warning him to, back off of Roman. And then you have Jay that's stating, like, you've already opened your mouth. You're too far along now. You're going to have to deal with the consequences. Out comes Solo Sikoa, who again is saying, why are you wasting your time on Roman? You can't even beat me. Setting up the main event of Solo versus Fatu. The Usos later on would say, Solo, Jacob, if you need our help, like, we're going to be by your side, because you're going to have the MFTs, surrounding the ring. We have a new women's United States champion in Tiffany Stratton, a match that we all felt was going to go Tiffany's way. Clearly a match that could have been on the WrestleMania card, at least, as a pre-show match. I know we don't really have pre-show matches anymore, but I felt like this year especially, there were a couple matches that I felt like could have been put on the pre-show, or maybe like towards the beginning of each night. Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which has kind of become a SmackDown mainstay. And then, of course, the United States Women's Championship match that Tiffany Stratton ultimately wins tonight. So we have a brand new United States champion in Tiffany Stratton. Something else to note, Paige and Brie Bella come out to celebrate their tag team championship win, only to be interrupted by Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who demand a match with the two. Initially, I thought this was going to be a title match, but it just turned out to be a non-title affair, which I guess works out considering they were interrupted by the debuting Fatal Influence. The team of JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed wipe out the 4 competitors in the match and make their presence known to a smattering of boos on Friday Night SmackDown. Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring showing his still pretty terrible looking eye from last weekend, and basically just lays out a gauntlet to anybody in the locker room. I'm the champ. I'm easy to find, hard to beat, so it'd be interesting to see if we still get him and Randy, or if we get some other kind of build up to Backlash where we ultimately, at some point, Randy and Cody are going to run it back. You just know that that's in the cards, either, one of these next few events coming up in May, or later on in the year, even towards SummerSlam. But Cody looks like he's ready for any and all challengers. R-Truth and Damian Priest retain their tag team titles against the MFTs. The team of Tama Tonga and JC Mateo. Pretty solid match. Nothing too extraordinary to note, other than we do have R-Truth and Damian Priest retaining their titles. We have multiple segments with Danhausen and The Miz, where Danhausen is invading The Miz's home, stealing his slammy, swimming in his pool, which ultimately leads to the Danhausen and Miz match, where mid-match Danhausen summons his Enter Undertaker and rises up, curses The Miz and Kit Wilson yet again. Some pyro goes off, and Danhausen ultimately wins with the roll-up. Trick Williams and Lil Yachty come out to celebrate Trick's United States Championship win, only to be attacked by his own gingerbread man, who turns out to be none other than Sami Zayn, who hits Trick Williams with a haluva kick. So clearly, there's still some bad blood there, and Sami Zayn isn't going away empty-handed. Rhea Ripley, similar to Cody Rhodes, lays out basically an open challenge to anybody in the locker room who wants to come out and fight her, only to be answered by the debuting Jacy Jayne, who made her appearance known with Fatal Influence earlier on in the night. And these two put on probably the match of the night. I think it really showed Jacy Jayne's ability to those who may not be familiar with her down in NXT. Once Rhea Ripley gets the upper hand and looks like she is going to finish the match off with a riptide, Fatal Influence gets involved and takes her out, and it results in a 3-on-1 beatdown, leaving Rhea Ripley in the middle of the ring with Fatal Influence standing tall. And in the main event, Jacob Fatu ultimately knocks off Solo Sikoa, but not without a bunch of interference from MFTs. The Usos standing on the ramp thinking about getting involved, but Fatu earlier had mentioned he didn't need any help or want any help. Fatu is able to fight off the MFTs and come out victorious. MFTs obviously attack him after the match, and there's starting to be, this 3-on-1, 4-on-1 assault. The Usos make their way to the ring, and you think they're going to come to Jacob's aid, but they kind of hold off and let him show them what he's going to do. And he ends up taking out the entire MFT all on his own while the Usos watch, obviously delivering the statement earlier that he didn't need their help, and then capitalizing on that statement and showing Roman Reigns that he will in fact see him on Monday and be ready for his answer. We leave Friday Night SmackDown with Jacob Fatu looking absolutely dominant and ready to have Roman Reigns answer his challenge come Monday Night Raw. Overall, it was a pretty solid show. Obviously, there was kind of this air around all these releases that had just been announced prior to the show. However, I think the show delivered on showcasing these new NXT stars. Similar how we got Sol Ruka on Monday answering Liv Morgan's challenge. We get Jacy Jayne answering Rhea Ripley's challenge. And I think it made both of them look really good, especially since Jacy Jayne ultimately didn't take the pin because Fatal Influence came in and attacked Rhea. And whether you like that interference or not, that kind of just shows you what this Fatal Influence group is about. When Jacy Jayne starts to get in trouble, there they are to help her out. I wanted to make this quick video kind of a news update of what's going on with all these releases, as well as kind of the results of Friday Night SmackDown that we're just coming fresh off of. Sorry if I rambled a little too much. I kind of just wanted to get this out here quickly. I hope you did enjoy. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, consider leaving a like. I do live streams of Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, including PLEs. And I like to do prediction videos, review videos, and I have a lot more in store. So I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to like, comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one.